Hare Krishna, Gauranga, and welcome to another KC on the Go with myself, JD. Keeping on the Sankirtana marathon theme, I wanted to try to bring to the attention of the devotees. There's a special sloka. It's known among the book worshippers as the samadhi verse. Now, everybody is looking to achieve higher levels in life, and whatever they do. Whether it's perfection of their work or their sports or their hobbies or their relationships or their whatever it is, their monies, they want to gain more money, they want to gain more experience in their job, or whatever it is, they want to do it better. So naturally in spiritual life, as Krishna conscious practitioners, Bhakti yoga practitioners, we want to achieve the highest perfectional stage. So that perfectional stage is called samadhi, full absorption, full peacefulness in your spiritual life. And this is talked about in many other religious processes as well. For example, Buddhism, one of their things is samadhi, or full consciousness of yourself and sort of self-awareness and so on and so forth. But here, samadhi is actually referred to in the purport to this sloka that I'm going to mention by Srila Prabhupada is that book distribution or absorption in spreading the names and pastimes of Krishna through the form of the books of Srila Prabhupada, or which is pretty much our shastras in the Hare Krishna movement, because he's translated the ancient scriptures into English, of course into many other languages in the world as well. They're now available. These are our main access to the ancient shastras of the Vedas. So this shloka is from Canto 10, Chapter 2, and it is verse 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrinvan Grinan Samsmaran Chatintayan Namani Rupani Chamangalani Te Kriyasu Yastvashtranara Vindayor Avista Cheta Nabhavaya Kalpate. So what the shloka is saying here is, even while engaged in various activities, devotees whose minds are completely absorbed at your lotus feet and who constantly hear, chant, contemplate and cause others to remember your transcendental names and forms are always on the transcendental platform, and thus they can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is this point, 3 parts: your activities, your mind, and your words. So it's engaging everything, centering everything properly. Because we can find that sometimes we're partially centered, we're partially grounded. The mind might be giving us some help for a change, which doesn't always happen. But the activities are running wild because we're fully engaged in something else. We're passionately involved in doing something. And then sometimes we find that maybe our words might be out of control. But our activities, like us, and our body is just centered. We're sitting peacefully, sitting comfy, nicely, but the words are going off, or the mind is going off, whatever it is. Generally speaking, it's the mind. We hear so much about practicing restraint and control of the mind and the tongue and so on and so forth. Just as it says in Nectar of Instruction, Vacho Vegam, Manasakroda Vegam. If one can control the urges of the tongue, belly and genitals, they're fit to make disciples all over the world. So here all the way down, Prabhupada's quoted many different wonderful verses to illustrate this point, but right at the very bottom, which is relevant to our point of the Sankirtana marathon, Prabhupada says here, the word kriyasu means by manual labour or by work. One should engage in practical service to the Lord. In our Krishna consciousness movement, all our activities are concentrated upon distributing Krishna literature. This is very important. One may approach any person and induce him to read Krishna literature so that in the future he may also become a devotee. Such activities are recommended in this verse. Kriyasu Yastvashtranara Vindayo. Such activities will always remind the devotees of the Lord's lotus feet. And here's the key part, by fully concentrating on distributing books for Krishna, one is fully absorbed in Krishna. This is samadhi. So you may think to yourself sometimes, if you're out there on the street, and you're having a tough day, no one's taking any books, no one's saying hello, people have been rude, people have even, tried to throw your box away, or maybe the police have kicked you off the spot, whatever it is, these things happen, especially if you're going out full time, you're going out every day on the street for hours at a time. And again, on the marathon, we know how difficult it is to tolerate the body, it's freezing cold, This is the Christmas period is the most, it's the most busy, and it's got the most footfall on the street. People are in a spending mood, but it's also the coldest time, at least in the UK anyway. We have so much rain and snow and ice, and, so when you're standing out there in 3 below, and no one's stopping and blah, 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 you're thinking, what is this got to do with samadhi? But actually, this activity of just handing people these seemingly, normal books is the highest activity, it's the highest sadhana. Because what you're doing, as I said in the last video, that the bigger purpose is you're connecting people back to Krishna. Yeah? You're giving them the way to hear and chant the names of God, And this is the Yuga Dharma. This is this chanting of Krishna's names is the Yuga Dharma, And because you're giving them something to come to as well. You're giving them something to look at. The pictures is there. The artwork is very special. Prabhupada, like Jadurani, she was asking Prabhupada, I want to distribute books. Because she saw the book distributors going out in such bliss, fired up, so much energy, so much power. And she was thinking, I want that. And Prabhupada says, no, you stay back. Your artwork is what's going to be saving everybody, Because again, you're bringing these books, you're getting the words from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you're getting stories about the pure devotees, and you're getting, you're also getting to see the Lord himself, in these wonderful artworks. So this is actually samadhi, this full absorption, fully immersed in the nectar ocean of Krishna consciousness when you're out there on the street. So you can remember that if you do have a tough time, if the mind wanders off and it gets a little bit flaky and fried, and you just want to run to the nearest, whatever it is, HMV to look at the, to read the magazines, or, go to Waterstones to look at the books or something, to take shelter of some material objects, But just continue to take shelter of Krishna. Bring your mind back. Keep chanting that name. Keep the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hey, how are you? Check this out. We've got these wonderful books. Okay, no problem. Have a nice day. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Keep it flowing. Keep the nectar flowing, This is full absorption in Krishna. Whether the books go out or the books don't go out, you're fully absorbed in serving Krishna for that period that you're out there. And in that way, when you come home, it's a nectar shower. We used to talk about this. I've mentioned this many times, but again, it's one of my favourite points in regards to Sankirtana. That sometimes you come home, obviously back to the ashram. When I lived as a brahmachari, you come back to the ashram. You would put all your books away in the book warehouse, and quickly go upstairs, and you would take a shower and get back into your devotional cloth and so on and so forth. But actually, being out on the street was like taking a shower, because you're cleaning the heart. Being out there on Sankirtan, meeting those people, going through that austerity, that's the cleansing, that's the shower, that's the nectar, that's the washing of the heart, washing of the words, washing of the body, and developing so many qualities as well: tolerance, compassion, mercy, humility, because there's one thing about how do you stay steadfast, how do you stay strict, how do you stay pure, but actually when you become rejected by people, but you're able to keep going, that develops such powerful quality, because again, when someone says no, you just think, okay, no problem, Krishna, let me find that next person. So you're thinking Krishna, because there's no other shelter in that sense. You're not able to go, okay, HMV, give me 5 minutes looking at the latest, I don't know what it is, PlayStation 5 or whatever, or the latest, let me play on the Xbox game for 5-10 minutes just to see if there's still something else there, you know. That's not going to give any shelter. There's no shelter there, you know. Let me go. One senior devotee in one of his old lectures from the early 2000s, he was talking about that. He was saying, like, you know, taking Coca-Cola, you see the advertisement, and it's like, wow, they make it so flashy, so far out, you know. You get the bottle of Coca-Cola, you open it up, you get this exciting fizz, and then you drink it, and it's like poison, you know. And it's like really damaging to your body. Like, you know, there's the famous experiment, they put the coin in, the coin just burns out, you know. So you can imagine what that's doing to your body. So there's nothing there. There's no shelter in the material world in that sense. And that sounds harsh, you know. You're thinking, JD, this is Casey on the go, keep it light in it. But no, that is the harsh reality of it. The shelter is that when the book distribution is going well and hundreds of people are taking books, you do 100 books, 200 books, whatever it is, but it's still Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When you're having a tough day, no one's taking any books, you know, and you just sit down and you read Prabhupada's books for an hour just to try and rejuvenate yourself. You get back out there again, you keep going, no one's taking any books. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Same thing, you know. Tajmada Sakta Satatam, Karyam Karma Samachara Shakti Hacharan Karma, Parama Abnoti Purusaha. Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by acting without attachment, one attains the supreme. One of the key verses of the Bhagavad Gita. I gave a talk on that shloka in my 30 key verses classes, you know. So this is there again, same thing, you know. Being fully absorbed in Krishna is possible. And you would think that it's only possible for the devotee who's maybe on the altar, you know, holding you know, doing his service and touching the feet of the deities, or, you know, dressing them and looking right in the Lord's face. Or maybe it's the person who's cooking in the kitchen because he's listening to some nice kirtan and he's getting to cook for the Lord, and he's thinking, oh, I wonder if the Lord will like this preparation. So those, of course, you can also be absorbed. I'm not saying it's not, but what I mean is you'd think that that's the only way, maybe. Or maybe when you're just sitting doing kirtan in the temple room, you know, with the mridanga, with the kartals, you're looking at the deities and you're playing in your kirtan. Again, one of of course, that's the Yuga Dharma, all sitting together, chanting, you know, again, probably that is the most powerful way. But nonetheless, it's not the only way, because you actually can get full absorption in Krishna by standing out there in the street with all the material distractions right in front of you. And if you just give them a blind eye and just keep trying to distribute books, you're there. You're in the highest state that a devotee can attain. It's full absorption in Krishna. It is possible. And isn't that absolutely fantastic to think about, you know? So when you're out there tomorrow, or when you're out there on the weekends, you know, on this Christmas marathon, or any other time, again, you know, it gets a bit dry, January, February, March, after the marathon, after the Christmas spending, everybody's cleaned out, you know? But whenever you distribute books again, whether it's the marathon or in the future, you can think about that point to yourself, you know, that if you keep chanting throughout the whole time you're distributing books, and you're just having good interactions with people from one to another throughout that time that you're out there, 1 hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, whatever you're aiming for, you know, you're there with Krishna that whole time. And don't worry about the result. The result doesn't matter. The result's already been achieved in that sense, that you're there with Krishna. And like it says in Bhagavad Gita, you know, 1854, this Brahmabhuta Prashanatmana Swachirina Kankshati, that, you know, you get the happiness platform when you get the spiritual happiness and blissfulness. Oh, I feel fantastic. There's a higher power. There's a higher potency. There's someone in charge other than me. I'm connected to something better. You know, when you realize that there's a God, when you realize that, you know, you can connect it to serve him. But when you start doing the devotional service, that's where it comes, you know. But a good bit further down the line, you know, you can then achieve this, what do you say, when you develop a little bit of faith, just to say, okay, I'm going to start doing some actual active service, then comes this wonderful platform of samadhi, you know, and remembering the Lord's lotus feet. So this is what we want. This is what we're looking for. We're always thinking, always think of me become my devotee. Yeah, man mana bhava man bhakto majaji mam namaskaru. Yeah, that's that sloka is repeated twice in the Bhagavad Gita because it's so important. Always remember Krishna, never forget. Yeah. And even that sloka as well, the smarta vyasatam vishnu vishmarta vinajata chid savivedina shidashur etayorava kinkaraha. It's also worded slightly differently. Tasmat savatmana rajan hari sarvatra savada shotavya kirtavya smartavya bhagavanimam. Whatever way you look at it, whether it's all the Vedas point to that injunction, always remember, never forget. Or the other sloka says pretty much the same thing. That whatever you do, whatever your activity is, the highest principle is never forget Krishna. Always keep him in your thoughts. So again, do this wonderful activity which is most pleasing to Srila Prabhupada, and remain fully with Krishna at all times. ISKCON Govinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi Haribo.